Cha, here we go. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What Am I Doing podcast with me, your host, Donnie Berry. Donnie Berry. Hey! Now, before we jump into this episode, a little disclaimer. I had some technical issues filming this episode. I had the microphone plugged into the wrong hole. So I thought the microphone was picking up my sound, but it wasn't. It was the microphone on the camera. So all of that to say, after some editing, hopefully you don't notice a big sound difference, but I notice it. And it's really kind of driving me crazy, and I'm annoyed. So I filmed about an hour and a half of content, not on the microphone that I'm using right now. So it's still totally usable, but it's just probably not going to sound as crisp as it could have and as I would like for it to have. I thought about recording the entire hour and a half, but no. I still have to edit and all the things, and, you know, I think it'll be good. This is all about progress, not perfection, and I think this will also be more so of a lesson for me to push through perfectionism, and good enough is better than perfect, especially after, you'll see in this episode, it was already such a struggle to just kind of show up today, you know? So here we are, and it is what it is. Ironically, this tech issue is in alignment with pushing through and kind of getting the job done imperfectly. So thank you all for being understanding, riding with it, and who knows, you might not even notice it. You probably won't. But if you do, just smile and say, "Oh, Donnie, we didn't even notice it." Okay? We are officially at episode 4 of 5. So we are 80% through our commitment to a 5-episode season 1. Wow. And I'm going to be honest, thank God, because I am struggling. Obviously, I'm sure there's a learning curve, and I'm sure there's like tons of shortcuts and things that I could be doing to make my life easier that I'm not. But this is a lot of work. So I can't even imagine what it would be like putting out one episode a week with like a 9-to-5 job. Mad respect to full-time content creators, because this is a job. I am filming this on Sunday. The weather in LA is dark and drab, kind of like my mood. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm just now coming out of like a 36-hour depressive episode. I don't know what's been going on, but it was so hard for me to get up and film. I say that just to be transparent with you all of what this creative process looks like. Hopefully for other people too. Not hopefully, because I don't hope they're in depressive episodes, but, you know, hopefully I'm not the only one who struggles to be creative and get those creative juices flowing. I did not know what I was going to talk about this episode. It's episode 4. I had one guest that I was originally going to have, but they fell through. And then I had another guest that might have been able to do it, but they weren't able to do it. And then I was like, what am I doing? I have no idea what to talk about this episode. I woke up today and I was like, thinking of a million reasons why I couldn't film and like what my excuse was going to be. Like, I was like, oh, I could tell the people this, or, oh, I could say this happened, or I could say, oh God, I got really sick and that's why I didn't film. But then I thought, you know what? Just film it. Like, you made a commitment. This is exactly the heart of what this whole podcast is about. Showing up exactly as you are, lifting the veil, and being real, letting y'all know that this isn't what being creative, and this is what a day in my life, and I'm sure many other people's lives look like. Like, sometimes just showing up and doing the thing is hard enough. And so if I can do it and just embrace that it might be messy and weird and awkward and cringe, at least I showed up and I did the damn thing, you know? So that's what I'm doing today. Welcome. So I told myself, okay, we're going to get up. As my friend Niecy Nash recently told me, I'm going to get myself gussied up. I put on a little bronzer on my face. I put on some clear mascara. I filled in my eyebrows with a little eyebrow gel. I put on some fancy fake jewelry. I put on my Beyonce sweatshirt. And I said, we're just going to show up. and be pretty, and maybe the words will come. These words are my own, from my heart flow. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. How's Natasha Bedingfield doing? For those of you who don't know, I love Beyonce. I'm obsessed with Beyonce. I put on my Beyonce sweatshirt because Monday, April 28th, kicks off the Beyonce Cowboy Carter Tour here in Los Angeles at the SoFi Stadium. By the time this episode airs, the tour will have officially launched. This ain't Texas. Whoa, they don't hold on. Who's so loud? Cuts down, 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 down. Like, what is she gonna do? Like, what songs is she gonna do? Obviously, she's gonna do songs from Cowboy Carter, but like, are there gonna be songs from Renaissance in there? And also, when you start to get a catalog this big, I mean, how do you even narrow it down to the songs? What is she gonna wear? What are the dances gonna be? I am slated to see her, as it stands, 3 times. I'm going May 4th with a couple of friends to see her at SoFi in LA. Then I bought Club Hoedown VIP tickets in New York. And then I bought Club Hoedown VIP tickets in Las Vegas. Now, this is when I had a job. I thought I could get the Vegas tickets because that's where my best friend Raven and I decided we wanted to see her. And I thought I could just sell my New York tickets. No, I did not read the fine print. Because the tickets have to be picked up at will call, I cannot sell them or transfer them. So I'm stuck seeing her in New York and I'm stuck seeing her in Vegas. I'm trying to sell the tickets. So if anybody in New York wants tickets for May 29th, VIP Club Hoedown, holla at me. We'll figure out a way to get them to you. But if I don't sell them, then I'm just going to fly to New York and then I'm going to see her again in Vegas. It is what it is. The money's been spent. You know what I mean? My love for Beyonce really kind of started back in circa 2001. Destiny's Child was the first concert I went to go see. I went to go see the TRL tour in Tampa, Florida. And I don't know, I just had a lot going on during that time. Those years were really kind of formative and already hard for, I think, a lot of preteens, you know, but I was like getting bullied at school because I was overweight. And then I was also wrestling with like being gay, but trying not to be gay. One of the ways I escaped all that and sort of shut out the noise was to kind of just disappear into my room and dance and sing. And all the pop icons during that time were like, more than just pop icons, they were like my friends, you know? I would hole away in my room and listen to Britney and Christina and NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and J-Lo and Destiny's Child. I don't know, they provided a little outlet, a little world I could just escape into and move my body and feel empowered and strong. And I would watch like music videos on MTV and VH1 and I would like record them on VHS and then I would like play them back and like watch and learn all the dance routines. And I was like obsessed with the VMAs and I'd watch all the live performances. And I remember my Uncle Johnny had a CD burner. And so I would ask him to like find these random live performances and then burn them onto a CD and then like play them. And in my room, I'd be like performing and pretending like I'm on stage. And that was really kind of like a time of comfort for me. And I just remember Destiny's Child coming out with their Survivor album and it being so many songs on there being my jam, you know, like Bootylicious and Survivor and oh God, I just love Destiny's Child and I love Beyonce and love Kelly Rowland. I love Michelle Williams. I don't know, I felt like Destiny's Child were like my 3 imaginary big sisters, you know? And then Miss Tina Knowles, Mama Tina, was like my imaginary mom. I was a chubby little closeted gay biracial kid in the South, you know, dealing with a lot of like issues at home, being worried about my mom and financial stressors and music and dance. And Destiny's Child really provided me an opportunity to like forget all that and to just be happy and feel free. I think that's where my love of Beyonce really kind of stems from. You know, it's a big red flag to me when people are like, I don't like Beyonce or like, she's overrated. How can you like not like or appreciate Beyonce? I mean, vocally, she's incredible. As a performer, just her showmanship, her athleticism, her commitment. I mean, she is a force of nature. So like, to anybody who's a Beyonce hater, shut up. Shut up. I'm getting pissed off when I think about it. You get up there and you sing and you dance and you swing your hair. That's another thing. Do you know how heavy and you're swinging? I mean, I'm bald and I'm always pulling my neck in Zumba, let alone if I had hair and I'm swinging for 2 hours. All that to say, I love Beyonce and I'm celebrating Cowboy Carter Week. Now, this spiral I was having was made worse because I know quite a few people that are working with Beyonce currently. For so long, I've been like 1 degree of separation away from Beyonce. And then I was like, well, Donnie, what is it? What is it you think you're going to do with Beyonce? Like, you think you're going to be her backup dancer? Like, what can you offer Beyonce? And then I started to go down this whole spiral. I'm like, you're right. I'm fat. I'm not flexible. My back hurts. My stamina's not up there. I just started to go down a whole spiral of why I was not good enough and why I would never get to be Beyonce's friend and I would never get to work with Beyonce, which obviously, I may never be Beyonce's friend and I may never get to work with her, but it wasn't about that. It was about how I feel about myself and me wanting some sort of validation from Beyonce, which is really me just needing validation from myself. So it was like I got myself up and showered out of my depressive state to like film this podcast. And then I'm in the shower like, you're right. I'm never going to be nothing. Which, side note, I pulled my back the other day. I pulled my back doing nothing. I don't know if this is a testament to my age or what, but I was getting ready for Zumba and I was rushing around and I put lotion on my hands and then I was rubbing lotion on my shins and I bent down to put it on my shins and then I sat up real quick and I'm like, chat, I pulled my lower back and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. And so I'm like walking all slowly and I'm like, yeah, I didn't even hurt it. I'm like, you know what? Let me take some ibuprofen. We'll just pretend like this never happened. I go to Zumba. I go about 80% in Zumba, which, is pretty hard. And then one of the songs I lost control and I'm like swinging my head around. And so I pull my neck and I pull my back. And so I'm like, oh shit. So I think that also contributed to my depressive episode because I was just in pain. And then I was judging myself for being in pain. That also added to my spiral when I'm in the shower of, and you got it pulled back, you're in pain. Donnie, like, can you imagine, like, if you were at rehearsals right now at SoFi Stadium, like, you wouldn't even be able to stretch. So then I'm in the shower and I think, wait a second, Donnie, why don't we live our life like we're waiting for Beyonce to call us any day? You know what I mean? Because when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I'm like, okay, Donnie, let's say you were in the running to be a backup dancer for Beyonce. What would that look like? How would you be living your life differently if you had gotten the call that Beyonce wanted you in 2 weeks? What would you be doing different today? I'm like, oh my God, well, my diet would be so much cleaner. I'd be getting rest. I'd be stretching every day. I'd be practicing. I'd be drinking water. I'm like, okay, Donnie, perfect. Why don't we do that? Why don't we start living today as if we're getting ready for the Beyonce tour as a dancer? You know what I mean? And then it made me think about, right, sure, if you want to look through the lens of manifestation, but also just kind of in general, like live your life as if you already have the thing that you want, which is kind of putting yourself into alignment. So like, it's only going to help me across the board. Sure, get closer to being Beyonce's backup dancer, but also just being a happy, more well-calibrated, more in homeostasis human if I'm just doing the things that are good for me, i.e., getting adequate sleep, improving my sleep hygiene, not scrolling on social media forever, getting up and meditating. That was a whole thing that came up in therapy. Donnie, do you meditate? I used to, but now I don't. I'm too busy. What do you mean? Well, I just can't spare 5 minutes of my day to sit still and sit with my thoughts. So, am I meditating? Am I eating clean? I can't be playing around with certain foods, But I'm playing around with certain foods. And because I'm an addict, once I pop, I just can't stop. So, I need to clean up my diet. I need to exercise. Guess what? My back is pulled. Well, instead of laying in bed, maybe are there some restorative, gentle exercises we can do? Oh, you're waiting 1 day until you're magically flexible? Donnie, when was the last time you bust? I'm looking over here at a damn exercise mat and one of them cushions because I got a tailbone that sticks out. I can't sit on my tailbone. I'm looking at my exercise mat and my little cushion. Child, when was the last time I pulled that out and like did some stretching for 5 minutes? You know what I mean? All of that to say, there are things I can be doing that can put myself in alignment with the things I want. And I realized I could start doing that today. Will it get me closer to being Beyonce's backup dancer or her friend? I don't know. But will it get me closer to a version of me that I'm happy of and proud of and just feels good? Yeah, for sure. It's a daily reprieve and a daily reminder to feel the feelings and show up for life anyway, you know? And so that's what I did today. And that's what I'm still trying to do as I'm talking to you and recording. So that was a little attitude shift I had in my shower, which helped me get even more prepared for you all, one day at a time, you know? Expecting the unexpected. Story time. Obviously, I went down a spiral today of like, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. But there was a time something unexpected happened. So this was the end of 2021. As many of you know, I'm a licensed Zumba instructor. In order to be a licensed Zumba instructor, you have to be part of the Zen network. There's this fee that you have to pay, which the fee gets you like access to choreography and just, you know, it's part of maintaining your official licensed membership. Now, I first got certified as an instructor back in 2009, and that lasts for a year, but then I let it lapse because I wasn't teaching and I didn't want to pay the, I don't know, $40 a month. So then in 2013, I got a job at Crunch, and they were like, oh, you have to be a certified Zumba instructor. So I got recertified. So I got certified in 2009, and I got certified in 2013. After 2013, I became a drug addict. So after that year, I let my membership lapse again. So I had paid 2 times to become a Zumba instructor, and I let both memberships lapse. So fast forward to like 2021, and a lot of my friends, I have a friend that owns a Zumba studio. I have other friends that are like big in the Zumba world, and they're like, oh, Donnie, you should really get licensed again and start teaching. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to go through the training again. I don't want to have to just pay the money. Like, I don't want to do it. And I was also having like a lot of just kind of financial insecurity, you know? I just didn't want to do it. I was so triggered by the thought of paying 40 something bucks a month for this thing that I would never use. Like, it just felt like so much money to me. Then I get an email from Zumba and they're like, oh, sign up now and you don't have to pay for the certification. You can just start paying the $40 again to join the Zen network. And I'm like, okay. I think I'm going to do it. And y'all, I don't know what it was, but I had such a huge emotional block with paying this $40. And I was like, Donnie, you can pay this $40 to be like an official licensed Zumba instructor again. Like, it's $40. I pay the $40 and I sign up. And when I do it, I have this huge, like, emotional breakdown about it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I committed to this. Like, this is $40. I could be using that $40 for something else. I'm like, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to cancel it. I made a huge mistake. And I'm like, Donnie, just take a beat. Like, we're not going to cancel it. Just let it ride. You know what I mean? So I let it ride. The next day, I get a call from one of my friends in Zumba. She's like, oh my God, Zumba Corporate just reached out to me and they said they're going to reach out to you. They needed your information. I don't know what it's about, but it sounds like it's something big. And I'm like, okay, what? So then I get a call from Zumba Corporate. It's their PR team. And they're like, hey, listen, we had a celebrity reach out to us. They were interested in working with you. They didn't give us a lot of information. They're going to reach out to you directly. So if you need any support, let us know. We'll help you. But yeah, just want to give you a heads up. And I'm like, what is going on? So I get contacted by the personal assistant of this pop icon. I'm not going to say the name, but she's huge. One of my idols, okay? I signed an NDA, so I can only talk so much about this. And I also don't, whatever. Anyway, this person says to me, oh, I'm the assistant of this celebrity, and they they looked at your Instagram page and they thought it was great, and they really want to do one-on-one Zumba classes with you at their house. And I'm like, okay, who's the celebrity? And they're like, oh, well, you're actually wearing... They said, oh, you actually have you're wearing one of their shirts in one of your pictures on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, Beyonce? And they're like, no, not Beyonce. And then I'm like, Jennifer Lopez? And they're like, no, not Jennifer Lopez. And then I'm like, huh, who is it? They say the name, and my mind is like, pop royalty, whatever. Anyway, all of this to say, I go to their house. I do one-on-one Zumba classes with them. I connect with them. I ended up going to their house like 5 or 6 times and like, I don't want to say building a friendship because we're not friends, but a nice little working partnership. And it was just amazing. It felt very kismet. It felt very like straight from God, this opportunity. And it felt like, oh my God, all of this stuff had to line up exactly, right? People telling me, oh, Donnie, you should really sign back up to be a Zen Zumba instructor. I do the thing. And then I get a call from Zumba Corporate the next day that this celebrity wants to work with me that I only would have had access to had I had signed back up to be a Zumba instructor. It was crazy, you know? And it felt like getting to work with this person was so unexpected and so magical and like also was a chance for me to challenge all of those things because when I was getting ready to go to their house, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not nearly as good a dancer as they are. I'm not in good enough shape. What am I going to do? I just had all of these fears and insecurities. And I'm like, Donnie, I hear you, but we're doing this thing. So figure it out. You're going to show up scared. And I was scared. Matter of fact, I think I blocked out the first probably 15 or 20 minutes after I met the person and I'm dancing with them because I was in sheer fight or flight and I was like, is this really happening? And it was just so magical. And all of that to say that I have to remind myself, and I also want that to be an example for any of you. You never know what God, the universe, higher power, your dead ancestors, whatever is out there that is helping us, that is conspiring with us to help us live our best lives here on this earth. You never know what they're working on behind the scenes to put you in alignment with things that are beyond your wildest dreams, you know? So I always think about that story when I'm having these moments of doubt and fear and when I feel lost or when I feel whatever, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Yeah. 11-year-old Donnie, who was dancing in his room to these performances of this pop icon that I got to meet and spend time with in their house and hug them and touch them and talk to them. And they like said so many nice things about me. That's another thing too. Here I am worried about like, oh, my body and all of these like external things that I was worried I was going to be judged on when this person, that's not anything they commented on. They commented on my energy and how I made them feel. And I don't know. That's a huge touchstone of like God, the universe. Like, if something's meant for you, it will not pass you. And also, when you take steps towards things that feel truly in alignment with you, God and the universe will show out in unexpected ways. Like, I, I couldn't even imagine that that would have happened. I still can't. I still get giddy when I think about it. All of that to say, if it's in my spirit to work with and or be friends with Beyonce, who's to say that couldn't happen? Anything can happen. And, dare I say, it could be something that I couldn't even imagine beyond my wildest dreams. Like, oh, man. And even if nothing ever happens with any other crazy, shiny, flashy opportunity like that, just getting to work with that celebrity in that moment was life changing and is a beautiful memory I will carry with myself for the rest of my life. So, celebrity person, if you're watching, I love you and I miss you. And if you want to dance again, hit me up. I still can't believe that happened. It's fucking crazy. It's literally fucking insane. I mean, technically, I am a trained dancer. I think when I was 4 in Ocala, Florida, I went to Honey's School of Dance, which was a dance studio. And I think I only went for like one semester, one season. Which when I look back, we were poor, so I don't know how my mom afforded it, but whatever. It makes me so sad. But I remember we were at a laundromat, which was next to Honey's School of Dance. And I remember us leaving the laundromat and me like wanting to like watch the dance studio because they were practicing. And my mom was like, "Do you want to watch?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And I just remember watching them, and then I guess that was the catalyst for me joining the dance company. And so I remember we were doing a routine to Shirley Temple, Baby Take a Bow. Is that the name of the song? And I just remember being obsessed with my outfit because it was like a onesie and it was like a green and white onesie and it had like green sequins and I had like a jazz hat. And I just remember being like obsessed with that little outfit. And I remember in one of the dance moves when it was Baby Take a Bow, I kept doing the curtsy bow like all the girls. And the teacher was like, "No, no, 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 no. You're a boy. You have to do the forward bow." And I remember thinking, that is boring. I don't want to do that. I want to do this with the leg behind me and my head to the side. But I had to do the forward bow. Whatever. I had to think about the bigger picture and the team. I wanted the performance to be right, so I committed to my role. But because I was the only boy, I got to be front and center. And I don't remember much else other than that curtsy bow and me not wanting to do that. So maybe I don't give myself enough credit because I am a trained dancer. Honey School of Dance, Ocala, Florida, stand up. You know what I'm saying? Also, one time, because I don't know if you remember back in the day, MTV and VH1 actually used to play music videos. And I remember the bus would come to pick me up at like 6:30 or 7. And so I'd be up and ready and I would turn on VH1 and MTV. We're talking like circa 2000, 2001. And so I would be watching for certain music videos in the morning so I could record them, learn the choreography. And I remember J-Lo was big on a dance break in the middle of her music video. I feel like people don't do dance breaks like they used to. I mean, say what you will about Jennifer Lopez, honey. I was living for her dance breaks, okay? And I remember that music video, I'm feeling so good. I knew that I would. Been taken care of. I would like watch for that dance break because there was a dance break and be like, whoa, girl. All right, I want to see you dance. Dum, dum, dum. I'd be obsessed. And so I would get up early and I'd watch for it. And I always had good luck on VH1 for whatever reason. So one morning I'm waiting on the bus and I caught it. The J-Lo feeling so good. I'm like, this is it. So I hit record and I'm watching it. And then psh, I hear the bus doors opening and I'm like, oh, and I can see it down the road. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then the dance break comes on and I'm like, I'm going to have to miss the bus because I'm not going to miss this dance break. So I record it and I get it and the bus leaves and I'm like, uh-oh. And I think maybe my mom was at dialysis. When my mom comes home, she's like, what are you doing home? I'm like, hey. I'm like, I missed the bus. I got in trouble for missing the bus to catch the J-Lo feeling so good dance break. She wasn't happy, but whatever. It was my art, my music. And child, I would just rewind, and watch the dance frame by frame and learn the dance moves. So honestly, J-Lo, Britney, Christina NSYNC, Backstreet, Destiny's Child, they were my early dance instructors, Aaliyah, Try Again music video. Oh my God, I was obsessed trying to learn the choreography. Ugh, I just love dance. So I have a checklist of things that I'm like ongoing life projects I'm trying to work on, especially while I have downtime. And one of them was to get my will sorted out. Now, I don't have a ton of assets. And by I don't have a ton of assets, I mean, I have nothing but what's in my apartment and a little bit of cash. But I want to make sure that that cash and those things go to the people that I want it to go to. And also, after dealing with my uncle's death back in July of last year, because I was his healthcare proxy, and then also having to deal with all of his like estate stuff, it really kind of put into perspective why it's important to get these things in line now while I'm still alive and to not put it off. Yes, I'm only 37, but child, you don't never know what's going to happen when it's going to happen. And I want to make sure in my right sound mind that my directives are spoken and written down legally and it's clear, not only for me to make sure I get what I need, but also for my loved ones. I don't want to put my loved ones through all that undue stress of like having to try to figure this out. What does he want? Oh my God. And like, already having to deal with like, death and grief and unexpected emergency situations, like that's already stressful enough. Let me do everything I can while I have the means and the autonomy to set it up. Plus, I'm a double Capricorn with a Leo moon. So I'm big on structure, control. Y'all not gonna act up if I'm, intubated in a coma. Uh. Y'all gonna do what I need y'all to do. Okay? And also, if I die, yeah, I'm gonna be dead. I won't care. But I might care a little bit. I might be watching. And so, yeah, I have preferences for what y'all are doing, you know? Anyway, I wanted to get all of that straightened out legally in writing while I could. So last night, I went online and I did my will and my advance directives. And I feel very grown up and like responsible that I got all that situated. Here are the 3 things I did that you should do if you haven't. I'm not trying to be preachy. I'm just lovingly encouraging you. If you're like, oh yeah, I'll do it later, girl or boy or they, them, do it now. Here are the 3 things you need. Actually, I can't remember. What were the 3 things that I needed for my will that I did last night?
3 main things you needed for your will that you worked on were 1. Last will and testament. This outlines who inherits your assets and who you name as your executor, the person who handles your estate after you pass. 2. Durable power of attorney. This designates someone to make financial and legal decisions for you if you become incapacitated. 3. Advanced healthcare directive, sometimes called medical power of attorney. This names someone to make medical decisions for you if you can't speak for yourself and can include your healthcare wishes.
Well, thank God. As you can see, ChatGPT was very instrumental in helping me stay organized. Yeah, so it was last will and testament, durable power of attorney, and advanced healthcare directive. So I got those 3 documents completed. Tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to get them notarized. And yeah, it brings me a strange sense of like calm and accomplishment. Like everyone who needs to be notified of what's up and what I want knows. If I have some sort of freak accident, shit's handled, you know? So it just makes me feel good because I've had a couple of deaths, my mom and my uncle, that were unexpected. And even though I have a nursing background and these are all like loose concepts I deal with on any given day, with patients and families, and I think like, oh, I have the tools to like deal with this if my loved one is in an emergent situation. All of that went out the fucking window when I was dealing with it and I had to make decisions. And, they're talking to me as a healthcare professional and I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying conceptually, but what does that mean? It's like it all goes out the window. And as much as I thought I would be able to handle it when it happened, it's much harder. It's much harder. And because a lot of those documents weren't readily accessible and they were not talked about prior to the event happening, I was left trying to make the best decision possible, and then sometimes living with guilt of like, oh, I should have done that or I could have done this, which I don't have guilt about my aunt or my uncle. I really feel like I made the right decision. I still want to eliminate as much of that difficulty and confusion and gray area as I can while I'm alive. So, all of that to say, I did that last night. I feel very accomplished. And if you haven't done that or that's something you're thinking about doing, I encourage you to do the same thing, even if you think you don't need it. I mean, I'm single with no pets, no significant other, and really no assets. So it was really super easy for me to do. But it's important, not just for yourself to make sure you get what you want, should you be in a position where you cannot speak for yourself, but also for your loved ones that you care about, making sure that they're taken care of in the process, Also, too, another thing that I didn't even realize is if I were to die and I left anything behind, it doesn't automatically go to the people that I want it to go to. It goes to a certain hierarchy of family members. What is the hierarchy of family members that your assets will go to if you don't already have it laid out? Okay, so here it is for most states, including California. Basic intestate succession order. So if you die, here's the people that can make decisions for you and inherit your stuff if you don't have the appropriate forms in place if you want it other than what this list is, okay? So first, if you're legally married, it'll go to your spouse. Second is children, biological and legally adopted. Parents, if no spouse or kids, your parents inherit everything, split 50-50 if both are alive. Siblings, if no spouse, kids, or living parents, it goes to your siblings equally. This includes half siblings. Then number 5, it goes to nieces and nephews. 6, it goes to grandparents. 7, aunts, uncles, cousins. So I had some stuff that I wanted to go to my aunt and cousin, and I'm like, wait. Anyway, all that to say, it would go legally to other people that I would not want it to go to before other people. And then if you don't have any of that, then it goes to the state. That kind of hit me last night when I was like, wait a second. All of my property could potentially go to a bunch of people that I don't even really talk to like that, you know? So I just wanted to take matters into my own hands. So I used a website called Trust and Will. I had to pay like $100 and something bucks. It was really easy, kind of walking through the process. I got to fill everything out. Then I print out the documents and I get the documents notarized. And they're my official documents that I keep a copy of. I give them to my loved ones so they have a copy. And then they also know where to find the hard copies if needed. And it's just handled, you know? And then I paid a little bit extra so I could go in and modify the documents anytime I wanted or change stuff and then reprint it. So I don't know. I just feel like such a responsible adult who is not only taking care of myself should the unexpected happen, but is also taking care of my loved ones should the unexpected happen. And this is not a sponsored ad. This is just friend to friend. Handle your business while you can, okay? Okay, now let's get into our Bitterberry segment. I have my first user submission. This week's Bitterberry submission comes from Lauren K. in California. Bitterberry. I absolutely cannot stand California drivers. And when people honk their horns, especially when the light just turned green, I haven't even had a chance to switch from brake to gas. Like, how are your reflexes so sharp that before I can even move my foot, you're laying on your horn? I work at a school, so naturally on my way to work, there's school buses, right? So the bus stops, the little stop sign goes up, and this raggedy-ass Toyota or something with the bumper taped on lays on their horn and goes around me because I stopped for the bus. We get to the next light, and this lady's cursing me out so bad through her closed window and then almost hits a kid in the crosswalk. Half the people here have busted-ass vehicles, and I know exactly why. So I just wave with my undented car as they swerve and slam on brakes and honk at people. It drives me absolutely nuts. First of all, Lauren K., thank you for sharing your Bitterberry thoughts. And I hear you. I feel you. I have definitely been on the receiving end of some asshole. I don't even want to say California. I want to say specifically LA and certain parts of LA. Glendale, California. You know, Glendale, California was put on some list from some car insurance company of like the most dangerous place to drive. Child, you got these people in their luxury vehicles. They're so aggressive on the road. They're so impatient. And it's like, bro, chill. Like, what is going on? And same thing that Lauren said. Like, the light just turned and you're already honking at me. Or even worse, you're there's a car in front of you and you're honking at me when it's the car in front of me. It's their fault. Like, they're not turning. That has nothing to do with me. It's them. Now, to play devil's advocate on the other side of that, I have sometimes been that driver who's a little aggressive. I don't want to say aggressive. I want to say assertive. Here's the thing. LA always has traffic. So, when there's not traffic and we actually have space to drive and go, I'm going to need you to drive and go. One big thing we experience here in LA is something called phantom traffic jams, which means there's traffic jams that happen from nothing. It's just people stopping randomly, and then it causes the car behind them to stop, and then it backs up, and it becomes this wave of like people stopping for no reason. We are not on the road for the fun of it. If I'm on the road in LA, it's because I'm trying to get somewhere. Most of the time, it's not necessarily somewhere I want to go, you know? In LA, it can take you an hour and a half to go 10 miles. So let's all work together to get to our destinations as quickly as possible. Safe, sure, but also quickly, you know? I would like people to drive a little more assertively. Not aggressive, assertive. So, ma'am, or sir, or they, why are you slamming on your brakes and letting 20 car lengths open in front of you? I need you to go. I go around you thinking there's 20 cars in front of you. No. Why is there a 20 car gap in front of you? Step on the gas and go. If we all drove a little more assertively and like a little closer to one another, there wouldn't be these phantom traffic jams. And we could all get where we're going a little quicker. Now, sometimes I think, oh, what if there's like somebody and they're new to driving and they're scared and they're cautious and they're whatever. I hear that, but also, I don't care. I need you to get off the road, okay? Because I have somewhere that I have to go, and you have somewhere that you have to go. So go. Also, I grew up in the South, and we had very clear road etiquette, especially on the interstate. I mean, we don't really have interstates here. What do we have? Freeways? Byways? I don't know. In Florida, it's the interstate I-75. Holla. Here, it's the 405 and the 5. Holla. If you're going to be going slow, you need to get in the right lane. If you're going to speed up, then you get in the left lane. Also, this is what drives me crazy. I'm really getting on a roll here, but why are you in the far right lane when I'm trying to exit? You're blocking me from exiting because you're going so slow. You're not even, get out of the far right lane. If you're going to go slow, you need to be in the middle two lanes. Move out the way so I can exit or move out the way so I can get in the fast lane. I don't know. That's my Bitterberry across the board. Traffic, people not knowing how to drive. And as Lauren Kane mentioned, we don't need to be mean and aggressive, but we do need to be assertive and act like we got somewhere to be. Okay? Flow. Go with the flow. We're all moving. Now, I will say that I'll never forget when I first moved here full time as an adult back in 2013. I remember being on the interstate and people speeding around me. And I was like sweating bullets. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going 5 miles over and everyone's speeding around me. Ha! I get it now. I'm one of the ones speeding around people. I'm sorry. I have somewhere to be. So I hear you, Lauren. Thank you for sharing your Bitterberry. And I'm sorry if people with similar energy to me have contributed to that discomfort. Okay, everybody. So that wraps up episode 4. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share it on all the socials. The more people that watch, the better. Because eventually, maybe I can get paid to do this. No, really. I need someone to pay me. As always, you can reach out to me on my website, www.donnieberry.com. That's www.donnieberry.com. There, you have links to all of my socials. You have links to all the different ways you can watch and listen to this podcast. And most importantly, there's a little section at the bottom called Hit Me Up. In the Hit Me Up section, you can type in a little message. You can reach out to me. You can send in your very good vibes moment, your Bitterberry moments, or just reach out with any questions or thoughts you have. And yeah, please feel free to reach out and let's connect. As always, thank you all again so much for just all of the love and all of the kind words, the comments, the messages, the emails, the DMs, the phone calls. I just really appreciate you all supporting and holding space and just being on this journey with me. And I cannot believe that we're already at episode 4. Thank you for witnessing me realize that I don't know what I am doing. Because what am I doing? You know? Wishing you all love, peace, and very good vibes. Deuces. Until next time.